Good morning, everyone. Today is December 22nd, 2025. My name is Gia, and this is my daily um, Animal Spirit Oracle card series. Uh, Good day to everyone, wherever you are in the world. So, today's Animal Spirit Oracle is Ant Spirit. An ant spirit is reminding us that it's time to collaborate. Time to collaborate. So there's two impressions coming through pretty strongly right now. One of them is it's time to collaborate with our teams. So our teams that we put together for ourselves in this third dimensional world, in this world that we move through as souls having these human experiences. As we've been moving through our ascension, as we've been doing all of this healing, we've been able to discern who we want on our team, who's going to be supportive of our journey, who's going to help nurture that with us. Also, part of our team is those that we've also identified as folks we can help nurture on their journeys as well. So there's that aspect of it. There's also the aspect of, working with our animal spirit guides, our ancestor guides, our ascended masters, you know, um, in that kind of way, our archangels, our dragons. Um, so working with and collaborating with that team as well in those other dimensions. We are moving into um, a new age with humanity, and the veils are thinning, and there is so much opportunity to incorporate all of the energies and spirits and souls that work um, together in those different realms to incorporate that teamwork cross dimensionally, so to speak. So that's one impression that came through. The other impression that came through with Ant Spirit, time to collaborate. Actually, those seem to be the primary ones. So we're collaborating with our teams in this third dimension. We're collaborating with our multidimensional team in the spirit world. Time to collaborate. Yeah, those are the primary messages coming through from Ant Spirit. And to be diligent and intentional about this process and recognize healing opportunities along the way with this as well. I love the puzzle pieces here because it lets us know that, we're not alone on this journey. And in the sense that, we're not alone. Um, we've got all that um, support from people who, want to provide that support to us in whatever way we feel like we need. But I think sometimes the way I think about that is sometimes I do forget that um, I can actually have intentions relative to those teams that I choose to and discern to work with, and I can negotiate, so to speak, and make a plan. And it's not just like, please show up and help in whatever way you want. It can be okay, I really would like my ancestor guide support in this particular way, or I'd really like you know, my deer, my buck, my animal spirit guide buck to support me in this kind of way. And getting to know the individuals on our team as well, so we can really understand strength that can kind of fit into what we need for our support. So um, really kind of looking at it that way, and recognizing how we can work with each other, learn from each other, and be supportive of each other on this healing and ascension journey. So thank you, Ant Spirit. Let's welcome Ant Spirit into our day today, Monday, December 22nd, 2025. Ant Spirit reminding us it's time to collaborate. All right. So, moving into reflections. So, how was it, everyone, working with Skunk Spirit or inviting Skunk Spirit into your day yesterday? So, my reflection with Skunk Spirit, know your worth, knowing my worth. So, I did recognize that it certainly does for me feel more comfortable owning this truth in certain circumstances. It seems I am still working on letting go of self imposed conditions on when this feels appropriate to own or not. I still have some self judgment around that, and so I am so grateful to Skunk Spirit for highlighting that continued opportunity for healing for me and releasing and letting go of that for me. So I'd love to read any of your reflections about working with Skunk Spirit yesterday. And let's go ahead and welcome in Ant Spirit today, December 22nd, 2025. Time to collaborate. Yeah, what are the goals and visions that we have for ourselves, even beyond just our healing journeys? What goals and intentions do you have for the work that you do and your family and your community? Who can you collaborate with in that regard as well, on that endeavor and in that intention? And how can we make sure that it's an aligned, balanced, harmonious collaboration with our higher path and purpose? So that was the other message. I knew something else was trying to come through with Ant Spirit. Thank you, Ant Spirit, for getting that last bit of this message out to us. So, beyond the healing journey, in our day to day lives, our careers, our families, our communities, who can we collaborate with? How can we collaborate in a harmonious, balanced, aligned way that's really tuned into our higher path and purpose? And all of the healing that we've been doing, all of the messages coming through, really feel like they're the foundational groundwork of being able to do that, um, and discern how to do that, and where and when to pivot, and when to dig deeper into some healing that might need to be done, and when to just keep going, and when to pause and rest. I really feel like we're laying a really solid foundation for stepping into our new selves, into this new year, and creating those new normals. So, collaboration from Ant Spirit. Looking forward to seeing how that manifests, that relationship with Ant Spirit, how that manifests for me today. All right. Another message Ant Spirit is bringing them through. Now that I'm ready to close out this video. So, the other message that just came through from Ant Spirit, collaboration with ourselves, our shadow selves, the things that we may have been avoiding taking a look at. And sometimes it's that deeper healing that's kind of intimidating to take a look at because it feels often so heavy. But Ant Spirit is reminding us that It's the light and the dark, it's the yin and the yang, it's the masculine, feminine expression of energy. It's a harmonious balance. So you cannot appreciate the light without having known the dark. So that shadow work is so important. So collaborating with that, making, setting intentions for your healing journey in that regard, like, knowing that that is an important part of um, returning to a harmonious place in a grounded way, to be able to step more fully and confidently into our higher path and purpose. So knowing that that shadow work needs to be done, it doesn't need to be done all at once. We can be graceful with ourselves, we can give ourselves grace, but still be intentional. We can recognize and identify contexts within which that healing feels safer for us. We can set those um, healthy boundaries up with those awarenesses. So, Aunt Spirit wants us to remember the reflection in the mirror. The reflection in the mirror. Aunt Spirit also wants us to remember the messages from Skunk Spirit of knowing our worth and our value. It's not directly contingent upon um, the any preconceived self-imposed notions that don't include self-love and self-reverence. Um, so yeah, um, that reflection, you see kind of that mirrored reflection of Ant. So there's the light and the dark that creates that harmonious balance, the yin and the yang. So just tuning in and seeing if there's any other messages from Ant Spirit. Thank you, Ant Spirit. Looking forward to working with you today. Monday, December 22nd, 2025. So there is another message coming through from Ant Spirit. So you know how ants can like carry and move like several times greater amount of weight than their actual weight of their bodies. So Ant Spirit wants us to remember this strength as well. So when we're moving through and uprooting those heavier, deeply seated traumas and triggers and mindsets and frameworks that just, it's time for them to go, when we've identified those things and we're working on those things, Ant Spirit wants us to remember how strong we are, how inherently strong we are to be able to, first of all, hold that reverence for ourselves, to know how important that healing is, and to stay with it, to continue to do our best every day. And our best is not to be compared to anyone else. It's our best and our way. It's the perfect way. And to be consistent, persistent, intentional, inspired, and curious, and that we can hold space. We have the capacity to hold space for ourselves for that healing, and we're strong. We're much stronger than we sometimes think we are when we're feeling vulnerable. So Ant Spirit wants us to remember that as well. I think that that's it. Ant Spirit is having a curious way of pulling these messages through today. Each time I close out, there's another aspect. All right, I think that those are all the messages from Ant Spirit today. So we'll go ahead and welcome you, Ant Spirit, into our journeys today. Thank you for all of the messages, and we'll see you tomorrow.